He'll be our driver. And for those of you that are on the 4-hour tour, 2 guides, Kai and Mana, will be joining us as well. And that's the crew. A few safety rules for you folks. Please remain seated while the train is in motion. If you guys can do that, we'll be safe and sound. Once in a while, train cars do tend to bump. And if they bump when you're standing up, you might fall over and hurt yourself, okay? Like a lady did do 2 weeks ago. She stood up in the center aisles over here. She was taking pictures with her camera. The train cars bumped. When they bumped, she fell over and broke her leg. I had to shoot her. So I'll be talking about a few places and points along the way, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy the train tour around the plantation.
Say hi, Angela.
The first building I'll be talking about is actually here on the left-hand side, with the brown roof and the 2 visible smokestacks over here. This is the old Wilcox Mansion, or the old Kilohana Estate. This was Gaylord Wilcox's home when he was living, and up in the bottom over there. This was his home over here. It was built approximately in the early 1930s, said to have been the most luxurious, most beautiful, and most expensive mansion built of its time, costing upwards to $160,000 to make this home here on the left. Nowadays, it's worth well over $12 million. How's the equity on that one, huh? Yeah, you're more than welcome to Brown Stroud today. It is very beautiful on the inside of it. It's been painstakingly renewed back to its original form. And a pretty unique thing about this home here is that pieces of it weren't even built here. They're built over in England and pieced back together. This is what you see today, an English-influenced 2-door type of style home. And the home over here does house a restaurant on the inside, which is called Gaylord's. The Gaylord's restaurant. We do offer a fresh type of dining experience. Pretty much the things that will grow here on the property, that's what we'll serve fresh daily to you guys. The things that are in season anyway. And let's go for a walk through the entire thing. If you guys want to check it out when you guys come on back, there's 2 floors to it, upstairs and downstairs as well. Upstairs were a few shops and galleries if you guys wanted to look around and browse. I mean, also the Wilcox family, they're known for collecting a lot of Hawaiian things. So if you head on the inside, you'll definitely find a lot of that as well. So, coming up here next on the left-hand side, we have one of our donkey masters over here. Now we talk about the donkeys on tour all the time because they were once used as a mode of transportation. The donkeys are the ones that would often haul around workers, sugarcane, and tools.
Just one donkey.
But nowadays, as you guys can see, they just kind of stare at the train as we pass on by, walk around, eat grass, talk to big green ogres, fall in love with dragons. That's a Shrek joke if you didn't get that one. And sometimes they do escape too as well from this enclosed area here. And when they do escape, we normally find them in our fruit orchard. And they're not even eating the fruits off the trees. Those donkeys end up eating all the fermented fruit on the ground. Yeah, folks, fermented fruit turns into wine. Wine makes donkeys tipsy. And that's exactly what we had, a bunch of tipsy donkeys walking around. At least they know how to have fun. Here on the left-hand side, we got our train yard over here. You can see some of our train crew out there spraying it with some Simple Green. What's up, Orlando? You can't hear me. Anyway, but that's our 2 train cars. We got the number 2 Wailua, number 3 Waimea. We also have an engine on the outside. That's DK, our 1942 GE engine. One of our flat cars there on the left-hand side as well too. And the engine that's pulling us today, this is our 1948 General Electric diesel. And we're traveling in the Honolulu, and you guys back there on the Wainiha, the open air car. We're going to be passing by these big old pine trees here on the left and all the way across to the right. You can see them. If you guys look at these pine trees here on the left hand side, look at how big and bulky these trees are. They were once utilized to repair broken or damaged ship masts. And it will do a purpose on repairing a ship mast, as you guys can see how big and bulky it is. And if you're wondering what they called it the Cook Island pine. Because when Captain Cook discovered it, he named it after himself. That's the whole reason. I think it was an ego trip on his part, probably. But as you come on through this area here on the right-hand side, folks, take a look at this little section of hardwood trees. This is a native hardwood section. Here on the right-hand side, we've got one tree that everybody pretty much knows through talking or somebody hear about it. Here on the right-hand side, right behind these white hibiscus flowers here, these are koa trees on your right-hand side with these single crescent leaves and the gray brownish bark. Koa, folks, it takes 100 years to fully mature one koa tree. And if you get caught cutting it down before then, you can get fined up to 10 grand for every tree cut down. And then another 10 grand on top of that for every branch that breaks off that tree when it falls. You're looking at easily a $100,000 fine. You might want to wait a while, if you can. Definitely. Here on the right-hand side, people have been actually mentioning these a lot on my tour, and I just tell them that this is a little section of papayas. And people come up to me after and they're like, oh, why do we have two papayas growing right next to each other? And I go, well, that was just to ensure the growth of it. If you just planted one, it might not grow, that's why. So you plant two right next to each other and see if it takes off. If you look really closely, there's one right there that's kind of growing up on just one by itself. Whenever one gets weaker, they cut that one down so the other big one next to it can get all the nutrients that it needs. That way, you know, we can still have papayas. Those are the Coati Sunrise papayas. We also have a ton of bananas here on the left-hand side. These are apple bananas. They're half the size, twice the sweetness of your Madon banana. And bananas in general, people tend to call them a tree all the time. But guess what? They're not a tree at all because they don't produce a type of hardwood. Bananas are cataloged and classified as an herb. Yeah, they're the world's largest herb as well too. Now don't get me wrong, folks. A lot of people think, like, well, you know, what we eat is a fruit. And yes, you're correct. The fruit is a fruit off the banana stalk right there. Just that main stalk that it grows off of, that is an herb. The world's largest as well too. We got more fruits though here on the left-hand side. We got some navel oranges, some avocados growing, Java de Cabo, also sugar cane right there. If you don't know what sugar cane looks like, that big bamboo grass looking thing there, passing you guys by on the left-hand side. Also a ton of tangerines in season as well too. It's more of our fall season, so we do see more of our fall fruit right about now. And that one right there, that's my least favorite tangerine. My favorite tangerine is coming up here on the left-hand side. It's a Murcott honey tangerine. Anybody ever try a clementine before? Okay, just picture a clementine 3 times sweeter with the honey taste at the end. That's what these taste like. They're very, very good. A lot of these are turning a nice deep orange as well too. Like here on the left-hand side, look down the row here. Right behind this dead-looking tree, you can see some in the front, also down the row. Those are very, very good. Sweet, nice, good taste to them. Some of my faves. Top 5, I guarantee, in the citrus row anyway. We also have a bunch of avocado. Anybody like avocados on board? Yeah, me too. I love avocado. Here on the left-hand side, passing the tray now. You want to look at eye level under the leaves. You can actually see a ton of them being produced right now. And that's the butter avocado. And avocado is actually very good for you. Guys, look up the reasons why avocado is good for you. You'll thank me later. Trust me on that. Well, here on the right-hand side is one of our many animal pastures. If you look out there in the distance, you can see some pigs and also some cattle out there. That's our Texas Angus Longhorn mix. Got Red Bull and Betsy kicking back and cruising out there. You can also see those pigs walking around. And I promise you guys, we're going to get to see those closer viewing of them in just a bit. We also have a goat here on the right-hand side. This is Licorice right there. Licorice Ashley, they call her. And she's just kicking back and cruising. She's a pretty unique goat because she has this stick across her horns. Because she's notorious for getting her head stuck in the fence for hours and hours and hours and hours. So what they ended up doing on over here with the goat right there is that they put a stick across, put some red duct tape across it so they can always see her in the pasture, and now she doesn't get stuck. Hooray! We also got Steiny over here on the right-hand side, kicking back and cruising with some of his horse friends. I'll get back to these guys in just a bit here. But here on the left-hand side, we got pineapples being produced here on your left-hand side. Pineapples do not grow on trees. They do not grow under the ground. They grow right on the top of the stalk. One marketable pineapple that we buy in the stores, folks, takes a long time to grow. One marketable pineapple takes 2 years to grow to that size. So when you get your pineapple, make sure you enjoy every last bite of the thing, because it did take 2 years to grow. Make sure of that. Here on the left-hand side, we're going to be saying goodbye to the orchard for just a bit. We got some longan right over here. Longan, this small little brown fruit. Looks like a cluster of grapes there. If you look on the backs, and a lot of those are kind of getting rotten away already. Right there, they're top there. Longan tastes like cantaloupe or honeydew melon. It's very, very good. Nice and tasty too as well. Known as the eyeball fruit. Very good. But we're going to say goodbye to the orchard. Goodbye, orchard. See you later. But that's not the end of the fruits. We got another fruit coming up here, coming up on the left-hand side. And these are nuts. And these are some big nuts. And these are coconuts coming up here on the left. And as you come up here on the left-hand side, you'll see these. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can identify a coconut tree, right? Okay, good. These are these Salomon coconut trees. And the weird thing about these is that these coconut trees, they're a typically slow-growing type of coconut.